All right, we are recording now. Welcome everybody to the Monday night team training call, the Healthy Body Team Training Call. This is the presentation system. This is one of our 6 simple systems that we go over every Monday night. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce our 5-star Golden Circle. She is killing it this week. 6 enrollments in 3 days, was it? 6 in 3 days. So nobody better to do the presentation system. Nobody that's, well, there's a lot of people, but 6-figure earner. She's great at doing this. You're going to love it. So here it is, Vicki Pollack. Vicki, take over.
Thanks, Joe. You're the best. Okay. All right. So before I do this, can I share my screen? Let's see. So I'm going to share my screen with everyone so that, let's see. Oh my goodness. I think I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Yes. Okay. So you know what? Actually, I don't know if everyone can see me. Wait, maybe they can. Okay. Can someone just write in the chat that you can see me and my screen? You can see both. Okay, good.
I see.
Fantastic. Excellent. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Okay, cool. All right, wonderful. So we are going to go over the presentation system tonight. So everyone's going to just follow along. You don't have to hop on to hbteam.co, but it's 6 simple systems. And if you're not aware of the new password yet, you can go ahead and message your upline for it. So before I start into the actual content of the system, I just want to talk a little bit about some of the overarching rules of thumb when it comes to presenting isogenics. So these systems are here, and this system is wonderful, and it's in place for us so that we can stay on track, stay on course, remain duplicatable, and it's awesome. And you always want to remember to be yourself always. People are going to enroll with you. They're going to enroll with your personality. They're going to enroll with your passion. They're going to enroll with your confidence. And this is just a structure that you want to show all that other stuff within. That's the best way to think of the presentation system. It's not a script. It's not questions that you follow in an order. It's really having yourself shine through in conversation with the comfort and knowledge that you're following a certain system. In the Eric Worre book, the GoPro Eric Worre book, and if you're super new, you definitely want to order it. One of the sentences that he said that will always stick with me is, it doesn't matter what works in network marketing. It only matters what's duplicatable. So it doesn't matter if you're some awesome salesperson and you're super talented in sales. Is it duplicatable? So that's why sticking to these systems is so important, because our goal, whether you want to, a team of 5 or a team of 5,000, our goal is to remain duplicatable at all times so that the person that you're speaking to can turn around and say, hey, I can totally do what Vicki just did. She asked me a bunch of questions. She showed me some videos. It was totally fine. So that we can sort of alleviate that conversation of, well, I can't sell isogenics. I'm not a salesperson, right? So always think of that in the back of your head when you're presenting isogenics. Okay. So it's funny, actually. I have in my notebook, so I took notes. I mean, I've always used these notes when I'm doing the presentation call. And I have a Post-it here that says, if you didn't close a sale, it might be because you're talking too much. So, and this came from Alexis. I heard her say that once, and I wrote that in my book, and that is what I always have with me, and I look at that on a presentation call, because you really want to think about presenting isogenics as you asking questions and them asking questions 80% of the time and then directing them to tools the other 20% of the time. That's sort of how you want it to be, not sort of vomiting your story all over the person, because that's so our instinct, and I completely get it. But it's important not to. Okay, so let's go to the system. So right on top here, if you miss anything I say today, the presentation audio is here. That's a recorded call from a few months ago. So you're going to develop your first Facebook post. So after you've created your curiosity on Facebook, what you're going to do is you're going to set up a 3-way call with you and your coach and the person. And you always want to make sure you're doing between 5 and 10 3-way calls. So never less than 5 and never more than 10. So no less than 5, because 5 will sort of get you in the groove of understanding the flow of the conversation. You will start to hear people's objections and multiple, like they'll all start to be the same objection, right? We all get objections and they're all sort of the same in the same family. So you'll be able to hear how your coach handles them. You'll be able to hear how your coach directs people to the tools, answers questions in a duplicatable way. So it's a wonderful way to learn. So that's why no less than 5, no more than 10, because you don't want to use your coach as a crutch, right? And it's so easy to sometimes because they're probably phenomenal, but your whole job is to take complete and utter ownership of your business as quickly as possible. So you want to make sure that one of the ways to do that is that you can master the presentation over and over and over again as quickly as you can. So you're going to do 5 to 10 three-way calls with your coach. Connect them, create the three-way call, and we have the three-way call form. I'm going to open it here. So you're going to fill this out and ask your coach, do you want it emailed or messaged or texted or whatever? So fill this out for your coach so that they know who they're talking to. And then you're going to have the actual three-way call. So it's super easy breezy. You connect the people, introduce them. Hey, Joe, this is Jody. She's really interested in what I've been posting on Facebook. She saw the transformation photos. Jody, this is Joe. He's been coaching people on this program for a few years now, and he's going to be able to direct you to the best information possible. Joe, take it away. I'm going to mute my line, and you're just going to mute yourself. Even though at some point in the conversation with Joe and Jody, you're going to want to unmute. You always want to remain muted because for a few reasons. One is that it sort of takes away from the flow of the conversation if you unmute yourself, right? We've all been on a three-way call that the person unmutes and it's like, what, and then you can't get back into the flow. Also, it takes all credibility away from your coach. So you want to sort of give them that respect and the credibility and mute your line. So then you get on to the question portion of the call. So when you're setting up the three-way call, you want to make sure that you tell your prospect to be in front of their computer. Really, really important. So if you are doing the call yourself and it's not a three-way, or if you're doing a three-way call, you always want to ask the person, okay, so Jody, I'm just going to ask you a few questions just to see if something like this is even a good fit for you. Before we get started, I just want to make sure, are you in front of your computer? If they are, cool, keep going. If they're not, just reschedule the call. And this is where I always say that this is where people sometimes fall into the trap, right? It's the trap of, oh my God, I already got these people on the phone and what if I reschedule the call? What if they don't answer? What if they get annoyed? And then what happens is they start to ask the person questions and then they start to sell isogenics, right? Then we get on the phone with the person and now all of a sudden we're like down the rabbit hole of explaining what undenatured whey protein means. And we've completely strayed from the duplication part of it. So the reason we want people to be in front of their computer is because it is duplicatable to direct people to tools. You are not duplicatable. The way you would sell isogenics isn't. So when I always tell people, don't fall in the trap, and that's the trap that I'm talking about. So we reschedule the call if they're not. Now, if they are, you are going to start with, so I clicked here, questions to ask a new prospect. Oh, something funky is happening. Okay, here we go. So these are the questions that we have that I always use this structure when I'm speaking to someone and presenting. And we always say, Alexis has these questions literally laminated on her desk still. And if you're new, if you've been in here for a few years, these are still, no matter where you are, wonderful questions to have at your disposal. Because sometimes conversations can go off into a tangent, right? And like sometimes all of a sudden you're asking them about shakes and then they're talking about like their grandparents, right? So you want something there to sort of veer you back on course when it goes awry. But if anything, having these questions in front of you is such an awesome tool that'll give you some confidence for you to just walk into any conversation, especially if you're new. These are imperative. So your goal when asking these questions is not to follow it steps 1 through 17. What your main goal is to begin to emotionally get the prospect connected with their goal. Get them emotionally connected as to why you're on the phone with them right now. That is your main goal. So I always ask in the beginning, so I'm just going to ask you a few questions just to see if this is the right fit for you. So, Mary, tell me a little bit about your health goals, long-term and short-term, like 30, 60, 90 days. I don't speak like that in number one, right? So it's important here for you to know that I've sort of created my own wording around that question, but it's still sort of that in that family of that question, right? So again, you always want to bring yourself to the conversation because people are going to roll with you. So tell me about your health goals. Oh, I have to lose 10 pounds, or I want to lose 10 pounds. Okay, cool. So how long do you feel like you've wanted to get that 10 pounds off? That was number 3, right? I skipped number 2. Oh my gosh, I think I've gained 10 pounds in the last 6 months. Okay, cool. So what has happened in the last like 6 months that you feel like you put the weight on? I got a new boyfriend and he eats burgers and I eat burgers with him now or something, right? And she'll tell you what happened. So, okay, awesome. So you want to lose 10 pounds, and what about your pant size, Mary? What pant size are you right now? And what pant size do you feel the most comfortable in or the most confident in? I love that question for women specifically too, because we have sort of like an attachment to our clothing size sometimes. Oh, well, I'm a 12 right now, and I'd really love to get back to an 8. All right, cool. How would it make you feel to get back to that size 8 pants, Mary? Right? Incredible. Okay, well, incredible. And then people will go back, oh my God, I haven't been in a size 8 since blah, 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 or since 6 months ago, or whatever it is that they don't have to have this colossal health goal. It could just be really personal to them. So always get them back in touch with emotionally why this is important to them. That's your goal. So, okay, then I go down to number 10. So cool. Walk me through a typical day of eating for you. That's what I ask people: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So then they'll walk you through, and then it'll become wildly clear as to why they have the health goals that they have. So for breakfast, I have a bacon, egg, and cheese and a coffee. And then for lunch, I have a salad with grilled chicken. And then for dinner, I have pasta and snacking in between and desserts. Okay, cool. So, you said breakfast, or I sort of reiterate to them so that they can sort of hold themselves accountable by repeating to me what it is specifically that they're eating. Okay, you said you drink coffee. How much coffee are you drinking? Oh my gosh, I drink 4 cups a day. Okay, what are you putting in it? And sort of have them paint the picture for you. That's what you want them to do. How much water are you drinking per day? How much alcohol do you drink alcohol during the week? If someone is telling me that they're drinking, I've had a woman say to me, I drink a case of beer a night. And I asked her, are you committed enough to your health goal that you just told me to let go of drinking that beer for at least the first 30 days? And she said, no. And I said, okay, then this program is certainly not for you. I wouldn't even want you to waste your money on it, right? So you sort of have to go with your gut in terms of the alcohol question. If they say I drink 1 glass of wine, every week, it's not, that's why I say you have to sort of go with your gut on this, even though the alcohol is conversation that for sure is not allowed technically. Do you drink energy drinks, soda? Have them paint the picture. Okay, do you have any health challenges? Are you on any medications? This is an important one because we are not doctors and we don't know in terms of medications that people can be on or can't be on. So if they're on a slew of medications, you want them to check with their doctor for sure. If they're on one single medication, ask them. I always ask them, is it a blood thinning medication? Because if it is, then that you have to tweak their program a little bit, especially for the cleansing part. I know there's no longer Dr. Ina calls, I believe, as of last week. So I normally say here that you would direct them to Dr. Ina, but no more Dr. Ina calls. So use your judgment in terms of telling them to go to their doctor for sure. Okay, and then I always ask, okay, great. After I feel like I've had a complete picture painted for me, after I feel like they have been emotionally attached to their goal, after I've written down all my notes about their answers, because I'm going to refer back to these notes. That's what this notebook is like notes from calls. And I take notes about what their answers are so that, for a few reasons. One, if they have an objection at the end, I can refer back to my notes to see how I can help myself answer the objection. And 2, when I'm coaching them through their program, it's important for me to know, right? Like were they on any medication? Was it, I can refer back to that and say, hey, I know that you were on X, Y, or Z pill or whatever. So super, super important. And then I ask them at the very end of this scale. All right, Mary, last question, I promise. And then I'm going to direct you to some information to take a look at. Scale from 1 to 10. 10 being the most committed you've ever been to anything. Where do you fall in terms of reaching your health goal or in terms of losing the 10 pounds that you're, oh my gosh, 9 out of 10. And I say, okay, well, so awesome. What doesn't make you the 10 out of 10? What would get you to the 10 out of 10? Well, I really love those bacon, egg, and cheeses in the morning or something. They'll tell you what makes them like half in, half out. And that's a wonderful way to maybe, address an objection right there. Maybe it's not even a price objection or whatever it is that we normally get. If they're a 1 out of 10, then they're just curious. And that's okay too. They're curious or they're interested and not committed or whatever it is. And that's okay too. And for those people, I still direct them to the tools. I still take them through the entire presentation so that they at least know it exists. They know the packages, they know all the information. And when they're ready, they will come back to me. Okay, so that's the questions. These are your jam, these questions, because they're like your roadmap for conversation. So now we come back and I said to her, okay, Mary, I'm going to take you to a website. Tell me when you're ready. And I say hbteam.co. And I say it really slow because sometimes people miss it. And then I say, okay, you're going to see a tab on top that says About Isogenics. I want you to click on there. Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh. Nope, that's not where I take them first. The first place I take them is to testimonials. So I say, I want you to click on the tab that says testimonials on top, hover over it, and then click on product testimonials. Now, I always say this is the most important part of your call. This part is where sometimes we rush, but this is where we should really take our time and ask more questions here. I always do. So I say, okay, scroll down here. And before I show you these pictures, I feel like I always love to show people transformation pictures because I know you saw a bunch on Jody's page or whoever, but I think it's really important for us. It's human nature for us to want to see how other people did on a program, right? So that's why I'm showing you these. So Mary, do me a favor. All of these are inspiring, but I'm going to take you to some stories that I feel like you could really resonate with. Let's say Gabriella, right? She's on the left, pink sports bra, blah, blah. I describe the picture and I say, okay, so Gabriella is a great example. Did she have a ton of weight to lose? No. Did she lose all of her belly bloat? And you had said that you carried weight in your midsection. And this is where you can start telling them their story back so that they can see why you are showing them this picture, right? So that they could A, see that you listened, and B, that they could really resonate. So if you bring them to the right pictures, people will sometimes be like, oh my God, yes, that's what I want, right? That's what I want to look like. You can describe the picture that you're looking at. You can sort of briefly tell the story, which leads me to my next point, is that we as the associate, what part of our job is to know the stories of these transformations. We don't have to know like every last sentence, but we have to know at least who it is that person would resonate with, so that it's sort of like an engine that's running in the back of our head as they're speaking, so that we know off the bat who we're going to direct them to. So bring them to Gabriella. Okay, belly bloat. Okay, now I want you to scroll down. If they're Zumba instructor, fitness instructor, I'm going to bring them to Tara. Okay, on the left-hand side, you see Tara R. She's a Zumba instructor, like who is just the best one on planet Earth. And she, this is, I think, 15 pounds that she's lost. She has no belly bloat anymore, totally flat abs, etc. So to sort of walk them through the picture, but take your time on this. This is really important. And it's important before the call. And this is sort of how I got accustomed to the before and after pictures. Before each call, I would go in and just sort of scroll through, like little by little, just to see pictures of like, okay, I feel like maybe knowing what I know about this person, knowing what I've seen their body looks like because of Facebook, I feel like they'd resonate with this person, right? So that's a good way to sort of get accustomed to it. And then I say, okay, so I take them to usually 2 or 3 transformations. Then I say, okay, scroll all the way back up, and now I want you to click on a tab that says About Isogenics. Mary, I'm going to take you to 2 videos to watch. The videos take about 15 minutes in total. Do you have 15 minutes to watch them right now? Yes? Great. No? Great. What time will you have that 15 minutes? 3 o'clock when the kids get home. Okay, cool. So is it okay for me to call you back at 3:15? Does that work for you? So I say that because we don't want to show them the information and then just be like, all right, let me know how you like it, right? We want to get on back, have a set time to get back on the phone with them, to schedule that follow-up appointment. Really important. So I always take them to either Are You Toxic or Transform Your Life, depending on what they've told me, depending on what I feel they will resonate with, which again brings me to my next point is, as the Isagenix associate, our job or part of our job is to know the videos and to know what's in here. We have to know our tools. This is our toolbox. This is it, right? Like this is what our business is all about. So I always tell them, all right, let's say I bring them to Are You Toxic? So Mary, I'm going to have you watch number 1, Are You Toxic? It's a video that's going to explain to you how and why nutritional cleansing works and how it's a little bit different from just clean eating. So you tell them what the video is going to tell them. And then based on whatever else they've told me, I'm going to direct them to different things. This is why we can't just send videos like in an email, right? Because we didn't have the conversation with them to know what they would resonate with. So if they're a mom who has to lose 50 pounds, I'm going to send them to Jill Birth's video. And I always say that for this one, I always say, get a box of tissues because you're going to need it. It's great, or whatever. You know, you'll start to think of your own little lines for each video. If there's someone who asks me about healthy aging, I'll bring them to What's Aging You. If there's someone who asks me about athletic performance, I'll bring them to Team Isagenix. So it really depends on what that person has told me. And that's the second video that I will direct them to. Okay. So then we hang up the phone, we call back, and then we'll go back to the presentation system. And this is where we can close. So then we call back and we ask, okay, so Mary, did you watch the videos? Yes. Great. So now we're at step number 4. What did you like the best about what you saw? And again, human nature is to get back on the phone and be like, so did you like it? Or what'd you think? Right? You don't. You want to ask that pointed question. What did you like the best? Well, love the concept of nutritional cleansing. Oh my gosh, I love the deep loading and healthy aging, etc. Great. Oh, great. So do you feel like this is a good fit for you? I do. Okay. Do you have any information or any additional information before you get started? Yes. How much does it cost? Great. So then I say to her, okay, Mary, scroll all the way back up, click on About Isagenix again. And then I want you to scroll all the way down and click on the big red button that says Ready to Get Started. Oop, what just happened? It's still loading. And I take them to this PDF before I start spewing out numbers so that I can walk them through and they can visually see what the packages are. This is also really important. So I say, okay, you're going to see 4 packs. I'm going to walk you through what each pack has in it, and I'm going to break it down for you by price. So the first pack, the ultimate pack. So this, I always tell people, short of Kathy and Jim Coover coming to your house and making your shake for you, this pack has literally everything else that Isagenix has to offer in it. It has every kind of shake that we have. It has all the sports shakes with the extra protein. It has the regular isolane shakes. It has all your cleanse juices. So I tell them everything it has, the entire skincare line. It has 4 shaker cups so that you can really start integrating this lifestyle with your family. It has the coffee, it has the e-shots. So you sort of paint the picture of the actual box and what that means, and you can literally walk them through the picture, which is what I do. And I say to them, so this is a wonderful pack for one of 2 people. One, someone who is interested in really integrating the lifestyle within their household right off the bat. Or 2, someone who's interested in the business side of Isagenix, who's looking to sort of become a product of the product quickly and sort of sample everything. So that's what this pack is, and it breaks down to be about $40 a day. So now scroll down to where you see the value pack. So the value pack is the pack that I work with the most because it sets people up for the most success, and I'll explain to you why. Then I walk them through the picture and I say, okay, so it has you see all the shakes on the left-hand side. So it has all the shakes. It has your two types of snacks in this pack. So it has your salty snacks, your chips, and it has your sweeter snacks, so the protein bars. It has your cleanse juices. If you see the ones on the left-hand side, that's the powder form. It has a blender, like this brand new ISA blender. It has the greens, which is a phytonutrient powder. So I walk them through what that means. And I say, this one, the only thing that you're responsible for is 1 healthy, balanced meal a day. This one breaks down to be about $22 a day. Scroll down to the premium pack. So the premium pack, another great pack, the biggest difference is that it doesn't have the vitamins that we talked about in the value pack, and it doesn't have the greens, the phytonutrient powder that we talked about in that value pack. So this one breaks down to be about $14 per day. And then the basic pack, if you scroll all the way down, comes with the basic bare bones stuff, right? So sort of like energetically shift yourself about the basic pack. So the basic pack comes with sort of like the bare bones stuff. It doesn't have the second snack option. It doesn't have your blender. It doesn't have the vitamins, etc. And this one turned out to be about $11 a day. So Mary, based off of what I just told you, what do you think is the best fit for you? And then we stop talking, which is sometimes can be the hardest part. And we let them make the decision. And we don't want to fill the silence with, and let me tell you about undenatured whey protein, right? We just want to present the packs just as a matter of fact. Don't get nervous in this part. And guess what? The more and more and more and more you do this, the easier it becomes. Like you could literally do it in your sleep. And you want to get to that point that you're so comfortable presenting these packages that nothing will throw you off your game, right? You will never get nervous presenting these packages. If you have a nervousness around the pricing for Isagenix, we always tell people, like, take a look at your own belief within yourself about pricing for this, because you have to really believe that this stuff is worth that, because I know I do. So that's the deal with presenting and the pricing. Okay, so that's the questions that's how to present to a new prospect for your products. Let me just make sure I touched on things. Oh, I have listened to their answers, double underlined. So, and this could be hard sometimes too, right? We ask a question and then we're so proud we just got that question out with no stumbling, and then we've completely lost their answer. We have no idea what they just said. Also, the most important part of the presentation is to listen to what they're saying and then to write it down. Super important. Okay. I think that was it for the presentation. Now I'm going to briefly for 2 minutes talk about presenting Isagenix to a new business prospect. So I have the business questions open. So it's the same concept for the business, right? The same concept in that your job is to have them paint a picture. Your job is to qualify them for your time, right? Because we all know it takes time to coach people product-wise and business-wise. So your job is to have them paint a picture for you. What is their pain point? That's what you want to get in touch with, especially with the business. And how will Isagenix then be a solution for them for that pain point? And that part of it is where the tools come into play. Show them the tools that will paint the picture for them about how Isagenix will be the solution, if that makes any sense. So yes, these are the business questions, and these are sort of the outlying questions that we ask. However, here's what I will say about the business conversations. They are different with everyone, for sure. There is no script. People always ask about the script, right? There's no script that we could ever possibly use that I could say to you, say these exact words in every business conversation, you will have an executive, right? Because it's just not the case. That's not what this business is about. It's about connecting. It's about showing up as yourself within the confines of a system. And that's what this is. So whenever I speak to business people about the business, which, to be very honest, majority of the people I'm speaking to about the business are my current cleansers. I've had very few people jump on who are just solely for the business. And if I'm ever on a business conversation, I will always bring products into it, because they have to fall in love with the product first, right? They have to believe in the product that they're selling and talking about. So I'll ask, what do you do for a living? What do you love about it? What do you hate about it? What would you want to change about it? What would be your dream job? Like, what would be the dream thing that you want to follow in life, so that you could sort of understand who you're talking to. Have them paint a picture for you about what it is that they're looking for a solution about, right? So that's your goal in this conversation. Building a business doesn't mean creating a bunch of consultants, right? And I think it's really important to have that distinction, because a lot of times we will go to business, like our seminars or conferences or celebrations or whatever, and we'll hear a lot of people on other teams talking about creating consultant creating machine, which is all well and good. And a culture of rank advancement is really important, hugely important. But creating consultants, enrolling people with this and that, it's not what building a business is about, a foundation of a business. And that's why these questions and then directing people to tools is so important. So ask them these questions. I always ask people, what would like an extra $500 a month do for you? Do you have a number in your mind that you're looking to bring in extra in terms of income? I've heard, I forget who asked this or where I heard this. Maybe it was Jeff Combs, but he said, how much money would you need to be making for this or for X amount of hours to be worth it for you, right? These are great questions for you too, so that at least you know who you're talking to. Are they qualified for your time? So when you ask all those questions, and I always suggest having your coach on a business call to gather that information with you, like for at least the first few calls, you're going to do the exact same thing. You're not going to say to them, okay, let me tell you about the compensation plan, or we're not going to tell you about, let me tell you about what BV means, right? You're not going to start talking about all that stuff. You are going to direct them to tools that will evoke emotion about the problem that you just pinpointed with them. Okay. Important. So first place I always like to take business people is to the business testimonials page. And I will always bring them to whoever story it is that they would resonate with. So if they're going to resonate with Alexis, I'll bring them here. These are PDFs and articles that you can read here. All of these videos are wonderful for them to read or for them to watch. So you can say to them, if they're a fitness instructor, oh my gosh, I want you to watch this video with Tara in it and a bunch of other fitness instructors on our team. Super inspirational. I feel like it'll really resonate. So if these are tools that you're not familiar with, definitely familiarize yourself with them, because people will really benefit after having watched them. I will bring them to the Start Your Life website. I'll bring them to, I'll connect people with people on Facebook. This is such a hugely underutilized tool, right? If I have a business prospect or a cleanser who's interested in the business or something like that, and I want to paint a picture for them, I am going to connect them with 3 or 4 other people on our larger Healthy Body team on a Facebook message. And I'm going to say, hey guys, this is Joe, my cleanser. He's super interested in the business side. He lost X amount of weight. He feels so great, blah, blah, blah. And would you guys mind sharing your story within this thread? I really feel like he'll resonate with you. That's a really powerful tool that I feel like a lot of people forget sometimes. So that's another thing that I'll do with business prospects. But I think that's, oh no, that's not it. I'm going to close with this. This is why notes are important, you guys. So I wrote down, and I forget who said this or where it was said, but we have to have our qualities in terms of a business builder, in terms of a teammate, in terms of someone you want to link arms with. Think about the characteristics of that person that you seek to attract and write them down on your whiteboard. Put them somewhere so that when you're asking these questions and they're answering you, you have this list in the back of your head to see like, okay, does this person fall into X, Y, or Z characteristics, this trait? So mine are committed, unique, unstoppable, unoffendable, coachable, and persistent. So that's what I look for when I'm speaking to someone. And people will fall into various different one of those, but it's important to not only want to attract those, but to also embody them and to be them yourself every single day. Because that's really how you're going to start attracting the business people that you are looking for, is to really embody the qualities and the characteristics that you yourself want to attract as a team. Okay, that's it. That was the grand finale. So do we do Monday nights? Oh yeah, we do questions.
Yeah, we have to do questions, Vic. You can't just get off.
Do people ask questions in the chat? This is my first time doing this on.
Yeah, we'll ask them to ask a question. Vicki, have you ever been on a call with someone interested in the business? Who do you think is a good fit for the business? If so, what's your game plan? Well, we just answered that, right?
I don't know if I answered that.
Qualities?
Yeah, well, the quality is Oh, you don't think?
Oh,
Oh, so have I ever been on a call and I'm like, oh God, this person just totally doesn't qualify, right?
Chester.
Yeah.
Chester was like that.
Yeah. It's tough, right? And that's so this is why, and Allie, is this my Allie? Yeah. Allie, this is so great because I think this is such a great question, especially coming from after what we just spoke about. But like this kind of stuff is where the gray lives in this business, right? That answer lives in the gray of this business because you're not going to get, I will never hang up the phone with someone and be like, unless they've seriously done something crazy off beaten path that I'm going to say that like it's fair enough to say that most people that I speak to, because they're even within my own like realm, I will wind up speaking about the business with them, right? So I've never been on the phone with someone that I've thought to myself, they'll be terrible in this business, and then I hang up the phone with them or hang up on them. I will always bring them to those tools because it could seriously change their life. And if they're coachable enough, they can really get there. That's how I see it. That's why I have coachable on my list of qualities because I think it's really important.
Right. Somebody asked about your the things you were looking for in a business builder. Can you just repeat those? What you had?
Oh, I have committed, unique, unstoppable, unoffendable, coachable, and persistent.
Okay. All right. So somebody got that question answered. I think you have 6 enrollments. And was this something that's been brewing with prospects, or were you just dictating a ton?
Dedicated. Yep.
Dedicating a ton of time prospecting and making calls.
Okay. So I actually went back to my list, and I went back like from my first mission intensive list, which was, I think was maybe 600 years ago at this point. And the list that I had there, I had like, there's 3 columns there. And I wrote like the last time that I followed up with them, I wrote notes next to it. And I followed up with those people, all of my enrollments. It was 6 in the past, 3 days. And then last week it was a few more too, because of these incentives. And it's such an easy way to follow up with people. Like, hi, we spoke on this date, X amount of time ago. You told me that price was an issue or whatever. Hi, it's like $90 off or something ridiculous. So I say, when can you talk? Because like I've never seen an incentive like this in 4 years. So that's how I did it. No, actually none of them. One of them was a brand new referral from someone else, but the rest of the people were all literally just follow-ups of other conversations that I've had months and months and months ago.
Okay. All right. So Joe Lamont is asking, would you still present in this manner if you know the person is going to sign up?
No. So you don't want to talk yourself out of a sale, right? If you know someone's like, hey, take my credit card number. I'm not going to be like, well, at first I need you to watch Are You Toxic, right? No, absolutely not. Definitely not. That's why you got to go with your gut on it.
Okay. This one is, can you tell me how you do the call when they are interested in the products and also business? Where do you start? Asking questions about their health goals and then move to the business all in one call?
Yeah, for sure. All in one call. Yeah. I'll ask, you sort of teeter between the two, but I stand strong in the fact that they need to be a product of the product. So I will always go heavier on the product conversation, even if they've been introduced to me just solely for the business. I will always ask them the business conversations and have them paint both pictures. Give me both pictures. So tell me what your pain point is in terms of business, income, finances, job, whatever, and tell me what your pain point is in terms of your health, wellness goals. So I don't know if that answers the question, but I will always have them paint both.
I think you did a good job, Vic. They said yes, thank you. Okay, great. So we'll take one more, and then we're going to call it a night. So who has the last question of the evening for the incredible Vicki Pollack? Vic, they got it.
All right, guys.
I think they got it all. So thank you very much, Vicki, for your time and training. You are phenomenal, and we appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you too. Have a wonderful night.
See you guys all tomorrow night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.